Can I please have you all just standing wherever you are? Okay. This game might have played as kids. Statue, London statue. Yeah, we all must have played this game. We are going to play the same game today. So I want you to move around, and then whenever I say statue, please be the way you are. Till I say London. Okay, we have played this game. Let's just start the talk with that. So, on a count of three, please. You can just move around wherever you are or move your body gestures whichever way you want. Okay, can I start? 1, 2, 3, go, start. Statue. London. You can move now once more. Please make some movements, don't be so still wherever you are. Make some movements, let the body be free. There is a reason why we are doing this. Statue. London. Thank you so much. Please, you all can come back to your seats. Thank you so much. That was lovely. You hope this kind of brought in the energy to get moving into the talk. I have a question. It's okay if you're comfortable. Yes. I have a question. Any idea why we did this game just now? The one that we played as kids. We are moving around, and then when I said statue, we're always standing. Can you tell me what's happening in you all when I said statue and what was happening there? Any idea? Auntie, can you also come and sit here? It'll be easy for me to see. Thank you so much. Any idea? What was the thing that we were trying to do? No? Is there a word for that? No? Nothing happened? Okay.
Sometimes there's a red and it shows about 60 seconds. Shows about 60 seconds.
Correct.
Some of us are settled. 60 seconds, anyway we have to
Correct.
stay.
Correct.
There are a few who keep on going through. Okay? 1 foot, 2 feet. And there are few more who after a point they just can't stay.
Absolutely.
They just have to go.
Correct.
The moment this was like we were discussing it yesterday or day before when it was like the whole what makes a person just like can't even stay for the traffic
Without moving even for a fraction of second.
It's like breaking law and everything. Like the body is so restless or used to movement that the pause
Exactly.
for you becomes so alien that the people are not able to.
Kind of stay, if I can use a word, still even for a fraction of second. So when we played the game, though you are all constantly standing, is this pertaining only to the physical? Is the body not just moving? Your mind. So when I said statue, it is not that your thoughts are not still, right? You might be thinking of something. What the best thing would be? Oh, what would be my next move? When is she going to say London and when I'm going to move? Yes, these kind of a thoughts absolutely come to our head, right? Okay. Now I have another very generic question that's asked to each one of us on a daily basis. Okay, what did you do today? The generic question, you meet someone, the first question, hey, hi, how are you? Oh, what did you do today? And what would be the generic answer?
What is the major thing you are today?
Okay, either you nothing, yeah. We usually say if asked, especially when we ask this question to a teenager or a preteen, okay, nothing, yeah, absolutely nothing. But they must have been on so many things in a day. Even us, as you guys said, nothing, or we will say nothing specific, nothing important. But is that seriously nothing important happening there? We have been doing so many things on a daily basis, right? Forget about even right from the moment you're up till the moment you are sleeping. We'll talk about the sleep patterns at the later point. But to start with, the day, the way we start the day till we sleep, there are so many things that we do. But whenever a question asked, okay, how was your day or what did you do on a daily basis, the generic thing starts with nothing much, yeah. I've been there, I've gone there, I did my office work, I ate, I did my household work, whatever. But the whole thing starts with a nothing. When I chose this topic, nothing was coming to me. Absolutely nothing. It was plain. I had no idea why that thought came. I have no idea from where to start, how to collate the whole thing. Because even if you search, there is nothing related to nothing specifically written by the master and the mother. Usually, when we pick a topic, we just say, okay, I need, if I want to talk about, suppose, vital, I type vital search by Sri Aurobindo, you get something or the other. But when I'm trying to search nothing came. And I'm like blocked. I had no clue what to do. Then this thought, the first question, what is this nothing? Why is that I felt like to pick a topic from nothing to light? Now, what is this nothing was a big question. As per the modern psychology, okay, if I go back to the medievals also, not just the modern, the medieval era of psychology also, there is something called art of nothing. Okay, the statement itself is very exciting. Art of nothing. There was a period in my own personal life, I would start from there, where I was, as I said, the first question, what are you doing? I was busy with my work. I was busy with my artworks. I was busy with my programs. I was doing a lot of things, but somewhere something was missing. And this word of nothing and art of nothing, you believe me or not, I never knew till then that there is a overall study material available online done by great psychologists on art of nothing. But that thought came in arts because I am into arts and I felt I'm doing nothing. So club these two, art of nothing came to my head and I wanted to see what it is. And that's where I read multiple articles by multiple people talking about this art of nothing. Okay, let me give you a small story of an artist who actually spoke very beautifully about this art of nothing with you all. Let me share some quotes that he mentioned, and then you will understand where we are actually driving from nothingness to light, how the transition works, and we'll come back to the first question, what we are doing in our life. All right? This nothingness, I also want to ask you one more question before I go to the quotes. Okay, fine. On a regular basis, we all, so that when I say we all, some initiation happened somewhere with one philosophy and then trying to hold on to it. We are trying to do our meditations, whatever process we have, a bhakti, whichever marga we chose. At least, okay, for a split second, quotes and quotes, if I put, okay, we are all into a different path than the normal, if I just assume it like that. Even then, when we sit for a meditation, this is a very, very honest question with all of you. When we sit for a meditation, we think we are doing something. The mind, the thoughts obviously come in, they go. We think we are trying to forget or ignore those thoughts, but the thoughts are still there. And we assume, this is how I'm presuming it is also. We assume that we have meditated. Somewhere, some bit of a feeling comes into our system that, oh, I'm feeling quiet now, so I have meditated. Now, my genuine question is really nothing happening when I'm saying nothing happening, is it not disturbing you, genuinely not disturbing you? Are we genuinely meditating? Are the thoughts really quiet? See, meditation supposedly needs to give us quietude, right? Meditation, you meditate upon something, is to bring in that calm into our system. Okay? Is that really happening? Or is there something else that is happening that we don't know what it is? Yeah? This is also quite possible to most of us, isn't it? So now comes this art of nothing. So as I was saying, there is an artist by name Zoan. He's a Swiss artist, a very, very famous artist who have kind of earned millions of dollars through his painting. So there was a day in his life wherein he sat down before a canvas and then he didn't know what to do, what to paint. And what he has painted is a white canvas. He has spent hours together and he has painted a white canvas. By the way, the canvas is white. Right? He has just taken some amount of a paint and he started splashing it onto the white canvas. So over the period of time, he just started staring at that canvas and he had no clue what is happening. Something was happening in him and he had no clue what it was. To actually explore that, I have another activity for all of you. I have some papers and three pencils here. I want 3 volunteers. Please take the paper, take the pencil and draw whatever you want. Whatever you want. Please. I'm giving you 5 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever time. Draw, do whatever you want to do with that paper and a pencil. 3 volunteers, please. Don't worry, you don't have to be an artist for this. We are not exploring the artistic this thing in us, talent in us. It's just a very free flow activity to understand the topic. Whatever comes, please. You don't have to even, don't put too much of a thought into it. Whatever is coming. Most of the times, imagine this painting to be any other activity. Okay, painting is an activity. If I replace this painting with any other activity that is happening in our life, that can be work, whatever we want to fill that blank into, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to start. We don't know how to progress towards it. Though you have a chart ready, you know the workflow. Suppose if I put it to a professional this thing, you know your workflow, you know what to do, you know your deadlines, but you don't know there is a possibility, you don't know how to start that, right? So have you ever experienced this feeling that I don't know where to start, how to start, and I have no clue where I'm going? Have you ever? I have faced this quite a lot. In spite of my busiest of the busiest schedule of a day, by end of the day I feel I've really done nothing and I feel I don't know where to do. I don't know what I am doing also. That question comes and I'm hoping that question is very common to each one of us here. Yes, we all get it. Awesome. Is your activity done? Right? Can any one of you please tell me how you started? What was your first thought when you had to start that? Auntie.
Yeah, I did a flower there. So that represented whatever.
Right. So when I asked you to draw something, why is that the flower came to you, or can you just tell me how that thing happened?
Because I relate every flower to the divine has specific purpose for every flower she. So likewise, I usually.
Beautiful. That's lovely, Uncle.
I could not draw anything, just put the name of Om Namo Bhagavate.
Lovely.
Nothing else is coming.
Nothing else has come, but then you wanted to do, but the mantra itself came to you. Lovely, Uncle.
Divine Mother and her 4 powers.
Oh.
Ma Saraswati, Ma Lakshmi, Maheshwari and Ma Kali.
Lovely.
And then other 12 powers.
Oh.
That are-
That's lovely. You've done the symbol.
Not the artist first time, not drawn.
No, that's exactly what I said. We don't need the artistic thing here.
Yeah.
But that's the first thought that came into you when you looked at a blank paper,
Yes.
right? That's so beautiful because usually what happens, this is a new activity for all of you. None of you come from an artistic background, right? None of you are into painting or you've learned. So this is a new thing, okay? Usually when we start something new, this question of how to do comes to all of us, right? I don't know how to work towards it. But the beauty of it is if you step back or if you just take a minute's silence and then see whatever is coming to you, you have beautifully put it onto your papers, right? Now I'll connect back this, take a moment's time to see what is coming to you, whatever feeling it is, whatever thought that's coming to you, whatever feeling it's coming to you. I'm going back to the same artist, Joanne, that I was talking about. So when they sat, it's two painters, they were trying to do a collab work. And when he sat down and then looking at the canvas, as I said, nothing was coming to him. He didn't know how to do. Usually an artist, they have referrals. That is how an artist's work starts. They usually have a referral. So in their mind, they already decide, okay, I'm going to do a portrait or I'm going to do a flower, I'm going to do a building. Whatever they have learned, they'll have a referral. There are very few artists who doesn't use a referral. So when you have a referral, if I've asked you to draw this glass and I put this glass, then you will all start thinking about the glass. Okay, how to draw that glass? Okay, whether I'm seeing it a line or whether I'm seeing it as a circle, whichever way you're able to see, you will draw. But if I don't give a referral, what the referral comes from? Your thoughts, right? So he sat down this white canvas and he had no clue what to do. He just painted white. Every passing day, he used to stare at it, paint white, white ke upar white, white ke upar white. It's a thick layer of an acrylic paint on the canvas. And then he started just doing the white as a blobs, just dropping them as drops because he was bored. And he had to name it. He was tired at a point of time and he named that art as nothing. Believe me, that's one of his famous art pieces. If you ask any other artist what is there, it's just a white canvas. But his interpretation of it is what made that plain white canvas with a blob of painting on it is what made it so famous. And he says, nothingness is a sacred space, a kind of pre-creative state that is essential to our work. Let me reread it. It is a zone of, okay, or if I can say nothingness as a zone, nothingness is a sacred space, a kind of pre-creative state that is essential. Forget about to my work, that is essential. Now, if you take this, nothingness is a sacred space and it is essential. I'm only focusing on those 2 points. Nothingness, which we very casually say, nothing here. I'm doing nothing. And nothing is exciting in life, or I'm doing nothing. We very, very flippantly, very casually use this word nothing. But when you actually look at it from a philosophical perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a different angle, nothingness is a sacred space. And thank you. And it does create an essential part in our work. Okay. And he also said over a period of time when he started staring at that, painting again and again, again and again, again and again, he understood another beautiful thing. Of course, when he thought that this space is important. Now we are also saying nothingness is a sacred space, it is important in our life. Okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I heard it. Yeah, I heard nothingness is important. There is every possibility people will take it the other side also. You will have smart heads, right? They will say, see, this nothingness can also tagline to laziness. If people are, there is every possibility, right? Each and every state has got 2 ends. If suppose I go very, very, with an absolute authenticity, I go and then talk to a group of people and then say nothingness is a sacred space, then they will say, fine, I'm not going to work. Nothing. Because I don't know what this nothingness and what is a sacred space is about. And nothingness tags down to a lethargy. It'll bring down so much of a tamasic nature into a human being. There is every possibility it falls down. Right? And then they will say, most importantly, go and say this to a teenager or a student, they will surely say, hey, nothing is very important space. I don't want to do anything. But that's not what the space we are talking about. So how do we look at it? So this question came to the gentleman also, and then over the time of mulling over this thought, what is this sacred space is all about, and reading a lot of Japanese philosophy. I mean, he was into the Zen, art of Zen basically, and after reading so much of the Japanese philosophy, he came to another beautiful understanding, which is very, very relevant to our own philosophy. What our master and mother has told us, that is what he's saying. And he says, we would wander through time and space and in the end admit that we do not really know anything about nothing. We would wander through time and space. In the end, admit that we do not really know anything about nothing. Do you see the trickiness of this statement? Suppose without understanding the importance of this nothingness, what our masters have spoken about, as I was telling, if I give this statement to someone, it is, as I said, a lethargy point. I'll not do anything with my life. Whatever comes, I am okay with it. So you might spend time and space. Your life will be just going on day after day, but you will never understand what this nothingness is about till a clause. This nothingness transcends with the consciousness. This nothingness has to slowly take a step towards a consciousness. If that happens, the beauty of nothingness is understood. Let me give you this as a very small pictorial thing in the air. If I take a small circle, this is our life, wherein we are just going around with our mundane things, whatever happening. Few of us take a leap higher, right? What is this leap? What is this higher? We all know. Each one of us have got our own parts of yoga, right? Whether it's a bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, whichever part we take that leap. But even though we take that leap, we are still in the same cycle, right? But the quality, the way we lead that cycle, that mundanity changes when we take a leap. Unless and until that leap is taken, you are so stuck with the regular things. I'm not denying that mundane things are bad, but with the mundane thing, for example, we have this, remember and offer. When we remember Mother, when we remember Sri Aurobindo, Gurudev, and then we offer the work that we are doing, even the mundane work will give us a satisfaction, a different level of quality has increased, isn't it? And we must have all experienced this. If you're not thinking, if you're not offering it, the work is regular. You are so caught up with what's happening within that work. We are so caught up with the emotions and the vitals that are connected to it. We are so caught up with the thoughts that are connected to it. Unless and until we take that leap of remembering and offer. Yes? Am I making sense here? Yeah? Alright. Now coming back to what? The understanding, nothingness to consciousness. We all know this word, be conscious of yourself. Yeah? This is the most important thing that the masters have made it very clear. Consciousness, as in when the consciousness grows, this thing towards the path or your walk in the path is much smoother. Yes, and that is what has been reiterated many times. Right? Now, I have a question again here. Conscious of what? To be conscious, from nothingness, you have to move towards consciousness. What? First of all, what is consciousness and what is it I have to be conscious of? Okay, the generic answer would be self. Anybody, it's a very, very generic answer, right? Self-conscious. The word sounds very interesting. Self-conscious and also very tricky. But what is this self-consciousness? And how is you being conscious is moving you from this nothingness towards light? How is this? Okay, this is nothing, one end of the thread. Light is the other end of the thread. If you're conscious, if your journey is starting here, and if your journey you're walking slowly, being self conscious about yourself every passing moment of your life, I'm not saying day also, every moment of our life, our journey is towards the light. Statement is very simple, very beautiful. Hey, A to B journey, what a big deal. Know about yourself. I start at a point A, I know about myself, I reach B, I see light. Is that simple? It's not simple. Why? Why is it not simple? What is this self we are talking? A mother gave a very beautiful, it's a small paragraph that I picked up. Let me read it for you all there. Keep thee quiet and do not mind if it is for a time empty. The consciousness at times is like a vessel which has to be emptied of its mixed and undesirable contents. The consciousness is like a vessel which has to be emptied of its mixed out undesirable contents. It has to be kept vacant for a while till it can be filled with the right contents. The one thing to be avoided is the refilling of the cup with the old contents. Meanwhile, wait. Open yourself upwards. Call very quietly and steadily, not with a too restless eagerness for the peace to come into the silence. And once the peace is there, for the joy and the presence. Let me read it, the second half of it. The first half very clearly says, consciousness is an empty. See, when I was learning music, one of my gurus made this statement, okay? Music is like an ocean. As a student, you carry a container to an ocean. If I am carrying a spoon, I'll get a water full of spoon. If I carry a tumbler with me, I'll get a water full of tumbler. So the container is with you. As much as you can take, you will learn. So that is what my guru told me. Alright, he said, as much as you're open to learn, that much of an information gets into your system. Now, if I replace music and then put anything, it aptly works. So here Mother is very lovely and beautifully saying consciousness is like an empty vessel. You have it, it's an empty vessel. Clear all the old things that are filling, otherwise it will have a junk. So you keep a vessel without cleaning it, without taking care of it, you will have rust being formed. And once the rust forms, there is a hole in the vessel. You can never use that vessel anymore, isn't it? It's a very generic home science that happens. So here Mother is saying it's an empty vessel. Keep on emptying the old contents. Be careful that the old things doesn't re-enter into it, but always be open upwards. And the one thing to be avoided is the refilling of the cup with the old contents. This is where most of us are stuck. We know the path. We have started at a point. We are saying, okay, I have come to a state of nothingness. Now, let me tell you this. I missed this point. When do we really come to the state of nothingness? When you are so busy with our own self, when I say our own self, when we are so self-centered and we are so caught up with the, I hate using this word mundane things, but then that's a relevant word that I can use at this point of time. When you're so filled with the work that you're doing and the appreciation that is coming with it, the monetary benefits that you're coming with it, which is actually filling your ego and then building your identity, which is a false identity, by the way. But till we are stuck there, you will never get this thought of I am doing nothing. Please remember, the fluke word is not what I'm talking about. Generally, very casually, we say, okay, I'm doing nothing yet. That is not what I'm talking about. This genuine feeling of, as I said, this is my personal experience. Though I am full with so many things happening in and out, I feel there is something missing. I'm not doing something. There is something, nothing is happening. When you get that thought, that is when you are starting at the point A that I am talking about. Till then, you don't see the point A at all. We are in this lower cycle of life, we are happily living this life. But once we take a leap, as I said, and you hit this point A, when you genuinely feel something is either wrong or some kind of a disturbance is for sure there, but you are not restless. Mother also mentions, I'll come to that statement, in one of the conversations with the sadhaks, Mother very beautifully mentions somewhere this nothingness, this silence. Okay, whatever we are talking about, there are multiple synonyms also. Nothingness, then we can also say boredom, emptiness. There are multiple synonyms but with similar meaning, right? But when someone is restless, then it is not the pure nothingness we are talking about. This is not the point A nothingness we are talking about here. When you are restless, you are in the lower cycle of life. You are restless and you are very flukily using those words. But when you are silent, you are not restless, that is when you reach that point A. And from there, we have to empty this. That is where this mother's paragraph is very relevant. When we clear those contents out, the old contents out. And as I said, this is where most of us are stuck, or I would say everybody is stuck. Not most of us. Doesn't matter with the age, please. Doesn't matter how many years we are into a path, or doesn't matter how much of a bhakti we have towards the Mother and Gurudev. No, we are stuck. Because again, it comes back, if I just take a step down, it comes back to our samskaras, it comes back to our swadharma, it comes back to the first and a major point of observing yourself, which we miss most of the day. We'll only observe the peripheral things happening, but there are sublime so many things that happens in our system that we are not even aware of. Forget about conscious. We don't even know that there are sublime levels that are affecting. For example, I'm going out, okay, I'm driving, and off late, this is again a very classic example, road rage. I'm traveling, I'm driving, okay, I am going by rules, I am driving very safe, within limit, everything, but someone kind of crosses you, and then my BP rises. I am in the car. And this is happening off late. I'm not giving you any random thing. This is my own personal experience. Initially, I used to be very calm. Okay. Off late, when I see people, going and not following, suppose there is no U-turn symbol there. But then I see people crossing a U-turn. I get so frustrated in the car. And I am like, where is this common sense? Why can't they read the board? I am reacting. They are not going to change. But my energy, the composure that I tried to maintain my whole morning is gone by one incident. I've already emptied my cup already there. But is it right to just be quiet and not react at all? Because that's wrong. What's happening there? This is a question that I always had. People are not following a rule because of one person. Hundreds of them are finding it difficult. We are here constantly honking. This is a very classic example, the road rage and the traffic that happens, right? But how do we do it? Are we for a second being conscious of, okay, fine, maybe I don't have to shout, maybe I don't have to honk with that eager anger and then, come on, how can you do it and all that? Maybe just go to the police guy that is standing there and then tell him, dude, can you please regulate it, or just give a suggestion and then leave it. Because you can't change everything all by yourself, right? So this is where that process, when we walk through that thread, we are stuck with the old things. There is one very beautiful composition in Carnatic music, Teliyaleru Rama Bhakti Margam. I would love to sing, but my throat is not so good. If I start singing, you will hear all the 7 swaras, Sapta swaras at a point. I've been having a throat infection, so I'm not going to sing today. Teliyaleru Rama Bhakti Margamu. Teliyaleru Rama, for those who don't understand Telugu, I'm just translating it into English. You don't know the path of bhakti. Tyagaraja Swami is saying, you don't understand the path of the bhakti. Why? In one of the charanas, he says, Vega lechi neeta munigi vibhuti pusi Vellaginchi veliki slaga niyulai. That means there are people who get up early in the morning, do their daily routine, take a shower. Neat a munigi is like go to the river. This is about the ancient days. So today thing, take a shower and then you put your vibhudi, namam, bottu, paininchi ikkadi nunchi ikkadi varaku all bottu, namas and all are full ready, and then you have all the malas in your this thing. Okay? And then you go, you do all your rituals. But any day your wish is not fulfilled, the Bhagavan's statue is turned. From Lakshmi, someone says, pray Durga, they move to Durga. Okay, or someone says, no, do this 40 days of vrata, your wishes will be fulfilled. The idol is replaced. And this happens. We have seen. And this question, when I was in my teens, I had this question. I mean, you go to a temple, pray and come back, especially with the Chilkur Balaji temple. I am not trying to point out about anybody's beliefs, but I find it very, very funny, if I have to really use that word. You go to a temple with a wish, yeah, fair enough. Even we sit and ask. Mother says, ask anything, but ask. There is nothing unaskable. Unless until even Telugulo Samatha kuda undi. Adagakapothe amma annam kuda pettadu ani. Right? Unless until you go and tell, okay, I need this, you will not get it. Fair enough. But if there is a bargain in it, okay, you give me this, then I will do 101 pradakshina, or you give me this, then I go to that place. That initially I felt it is like you're bargaining, that it is not bhakti. But over the period, of course, my idea of that also changed, which is not relevant at this point of time. But what he's saying in this composition is, you do everything, but without being conscious of what you are doing. You're doing it as a ritual. People do go to a temple, people do all kinds of, yajnas, pujas, vratas, whatever we do, but not being conscious of what it is and why is that you are doing. And that composition very beautifully talks about this. Mother says, these pockets of emptiness. Now from nothingness, we are just taking another word called empty. When there is nothing, you feel empty, right? An empty bottle. If there is nothing in this water, it's an empty glass. Right? So these two are synonyms, if I can just take it, or the same meaning. These pockets of emptiness are good. High and low is good. And if one can observe these waves and put them as an argya, this is not mother used another word, but to make it simple, I've just used this word as an argyam, the fire starts. The pockets of high and low is good. And if one can observe these waves, this high and low again, we feel this high and low on a regular basis, right? Suddenly you feel very high about yourself. When I say high about yourself, not the egoistic high. You feel high, your energies are high, your vital is very joyous. The next moment you feel it's dropped. The next day, there are moments, darshan day, you feel amazingly great. And once you are back home, the next day you feel like you're in a slump. And you don't know why. And at least I have never understood why, but I faced those things. You feel so amazing that 1 week or 10 days of that days, you feel that energy, you feel their presence, and then suddenly you feel something is gone. And you feel very lethargic, you are more like a sloth, even slower than a sloth, if I can actually say. But mother is saying it is good, that high and low is good, provided you observe these waves and try to see what is happening. Why is it you are low? Is this low because something happened at the event that you have been? Someone said something and then subtly you have taken it into you? Or is it genuinely that the energies are low, your vital is tired and it just needs relaxation? So whatever it is, if we can observe those things and then put it as an argya is like in a homa, neyi manam edaithe vestu untam kada constant ga, that is the agnya. So that means put it into then the fire starts. So if you have to start a homam, you need those sticks, you need the fuel as well, and then you need a matchstick. Usually they use the karpuram to camphor to light the yajna kundam, right? So mother is saying, try to observe those waves, and that is when the light starts. The moment that fire starts in us, your journey becomes a little more smoother. It's like a soap slide. Unless and until you try to observe what is happening inside you and then offer it. What is it putting the agya? What is that you have to offer? Okay, this is what is happening. I'm putting it to you. Remember and offer. Again, very simply in one statement, remember and offer. Unless and until that happens, this whole thing doesn't work. Emptiness usually comes as a clearance of the consciousness or some part of it. The consciousness or that part becomes like an empty cup into which something new can be poured. The highest emptiness is the pure existence of the self in which all manifestation can take place. The highest emptiness. When do we reach that highest emptiness? When we constantly, every second of a breath, we are trying to observe what is happening and then offer it to her. We try to reach to that highest emptiness. Once we reach to that, that is a pure existence of the self in which all manifestation can take place. When I am reading this, another composition came into my thought, and I have to share this. There is a composition on Ma Saraswati, Vandeham Sharadam. In that, the Charana says, let me try to recollect it. Suddha Sattva Swarupini. Okay? Suddha Sattva Swarupini. Swachha Hridaya Nivasini. Suddha Sattva Swarupini. Sattva Guna itself is the highest of all the three gunas that we all know. In that Suddha, the purest of the Sattva Guna is what Ma Saraswati is about. If you actually see, the Ma Saraswati's attire is also white. Hamsa Vahanam. Sharada Ammavari Vahanam is Hamsa, right? The purest form. And even with the colors also, we say white is the purest color. Right? The Shanti Chikna is white. So here the author is saying, Dayananda Saraswati's composition this is, and then he says, Suddha Sattva Swarupini Swachha Hridaya Nivasini. Someone who can aspire to reach the highest emptiness, the highest of the Sattva Guna, that is where she resides. Suddha Sattva Swarupini Swachha Hridaya. It's a very simple connect, right? If you're aspiring to be Sattva Guna, that means you've already worked through your channels of your lower vitals and then slowly trying to aspire. Even then, being there constantly is difficult. We fall down to tamas again. And then we take that one more step of a Sattva and then back to, that's the cycle. That is how it goes. People who have stayed in the Sattva Guna for a long are all the Siddhas, right? So even for them also, if they can take one more leap of the highest, purest sense, that is where Mother resides. That is where the overall transition starts. And Mother also says, emptiness is a transitional state. This is when I was searching for this nothingness, as I said, nothing came. And I started using different words, emptiness. And then I started, okay, is there any other thing that I can, boredom and all that. This statement popped. And then she says very, very beautifully, a profound statement that is a transitional state. If you reach an emptiness, that is a transitional state. It won't interfere your sadhana. We won't feel tired. One doesn't feel restlessness. If these things are there, how do we know that we have reached that state? Is, as we have already spoken about it earlier, you will not feel restless about it. You will not have that eagerness to do something quickly. Okay, I have to finish this and I have to reach a destination. This is not a train journey kind. This is a lifelong journey. And then when you don't have that, and you feel an absolute sense of peace and silence, then that is the transitional state that one has reached, and that state helps your journey even more smoother, like an ice skating. Initially, we said point A, reaching point A itself is difficult. You start with your consciousness, you're slowly sliding as if you have got a small soap on your, under your legs, and then slightly sliding. But once we reach here, it is like an ice skating. Have you ever seen an ice skater? When they put those skates and they stand on the rink, unless and until you stop, you have that balance in you, you will not stop, you will slide. That beautifully your path, our work slides, is what Mother is saying. It feels as if the silence were its a native element. Let me repeat these 3 pointers. Emptiness is a transitional state. It won't interfere your sadhana. We won't feel tired restlessness. It feels as if the silence were its native element. In that emptiness, you feel silent. In that emptiness, you feel that quietude. Once you feel that quietude, that means you have taken a leap for sure. An absolute guarantee given. That means you've worked on yourself. You have really looked what is happening inside you, constantly offered it to her, and then have taken a leap. There is a beautiful a line from Savitri. Find out thy soul, recover thy itself. In silence, seek God's meaning in thy depths. Find out thy soul, recover thy itself. In silence, seek God's meaning in thy depths. What is this, thy depths? If you have to really take that point, thy silence, seek God's meaning in thy depths. What is that depths? We can actually refer to this from 2 stories basically. One is our own master's Alipur jail episode. When Gurudev was put in the jail, for the first 2 days, he had this question like, whatever I've been doing, it's for the country, it's for you. Like any of us, initial years we must have asked, right? I've been praying you and then you've putting me to so much of a trauma and tension in my life. Why? This question might have popped to all of us. Gurudev also had that, right? And then Sri Krishna revealed himself to Gurudev, and then we know what happened. How in depth Gurudev was able to get into his own self, and then the overall, we know, then history happened. We know that. Then another story that we can connect from the mythology, Puranic things, is the Mirabai's story. We all know the Mirabai's life story also, so I don't want to get into the thing, and we're also running out of time, so I'll cut this story short. In the end, when Mirabai has left her palace and all that, and in search of the Lord, she was carrying a small Krishna's idol and then walking, and then she was called as a beggar princess. Because she looks royalty, obviously, that attire, not the clothing is not what I'm talking about, the body language. Even though she was in rags, her body language very clearly showed that she comes from royalty. Okay? And then she was begging with a small Krishna's idol in her hand. And everybody used to call her a beggar princess. Meera, the beggar princess, was her title. When this idol was also stolen from her, and then she absolutely felt dejected. Very funnily, Sri Krishna used to come into her dreams when she was in the palace. When she left the palace by the Agnya of the Krishna, so she heard Krishna saying, this is not for you, and then she also cross-checks with Surdas ji to confirm it, and then takes a decision. Once she has taken a decision, she could never feel Krishna's presence, and that was tormenting her. She came out, she's been facing all kinds of odds in life, and then she's not even feeling a moment of his presence in his life, though she's been holding to that Krishna's idol so close to her. And one fun night or fine night, that the idol is stolen. She feels very rejected and then she decides to commit suicide. She decides, okay, I'm done with this life. This is not for me. And then she gets to a close by river by bank, and then a drop of a tear falls on the ground. And then suddenly in that tear, she sees Krishna's face. See the beauty of that. All those days when she was carrying the idol, she never felt his presence. In that one tear, she felt his presence. And then this question came to her, why, Lord? In my tear, I am able to see you, but why is it I couldn't feel you or see you all these days? And the answer, the way Sri Krishna revealed himself to Meera, that is why Meera is a Bhakta, greatest of all, is, he says, you have been still holding on to the materialistic thing, the idol, and you thought Krishna is only the idol. This is given to her when she was a kid. And for her, Krishna, the ideal Krishna, is the Krishna. And then she started seeing only in that. But he said, you haven't gone into the depths. That's the thigh depths. You haven't started seeing me in everything. I am in you, even in your tear. The same dialogue goes to Draupadi's story also if I go back to Mahabharata. You've been calling me different directions, but you didn't call the one who is inside you. The Krishna that is residing in me, you never said that. The Draupadi Vastrapaharanam. So the same way, if you just relate to that story, find out thy soul, recover thy light. In silence, see God's meaning in thy depths. When we start realizing, or when we even consciously put an effort, realization is like a big word, but even if we start that thought of seeing them, feeling them, whomsoever is your Istadaiva is, whomsoever you believe in, whatever I do, we usually get stuck with this, like the outer circumstances, again the self, that is where we are going now. When we talking about self, how do we observe? I said observe what is happening inside. Till we are so stuck up with whatever is happening in my life is because of this X, Y, Z, you are not seeing inside. Absolutely no. Forget about looking into thy depths, you are not even looking into our own depths. The moment we realize whatever is happening, there is also this thing in Savitri, right? Outward happenings have their seed within. Whatever is happening outside, you have a seed within you. We have to unravel it. It might not be very predominantly out, but in a layers, a subtle layer, somewhere it is hidden, and then we have to. It's like opening a pomegranate. Opening a pomegranate is not easy, right? I mean, you have to open it. It's not like a banana, just peel it off. So there, and then even when you get the pomegranate fruit out, getting those seeds is not easy. You have to open again, open, and then take it, right? So it is like that. The outward happenings have their seed within. And when we are able to see it, then the fire is lit. And for that, Mother says, the first thing that is needed is the aspiration. We need to aspire to see that light. We need to aspire to reach that light. Once you aspire, then will for progress. Consistency in what we are doing, that will should be absolutely strong. Be consistent, will for progress, will towards perfection. It is not just about progress, perfectly progressing. That is the word she uses. Do that perfect progress, and then the self-purification that lights the fire. Self-purification is an acute study of ourselves. And that happens only when we stop. The first thing to stop is to blame others, blame the circumstances. If someone is mad at you, if you are reacting to it, it is your fault. It is not that they are angry. They are angry, it is their thing. But if I am reacting to it, it is something within me, and I am able to see that they are mad at me, that means somewhere my ego is also hurt and I am able to see it. Very simple example. This happens in a regular life. Right? So unless and until we do this, going back to that pictorial visualization of the circles we had, we will be stuck with the lower circle itself. And there is no leap, there is no higher circle happening. Let me read 2 or 3 paragraphs from Savitri about nothing to light, and we will try to meditate upon. Let me use this word. We will try to meditate upon light while I am reading a sonnet by Sri Aurobindo titled Light. Okay? We will try to wind this up in like 5-10 minutes. Let me take the Savitri readings. The first one, arisen from nothingness and towards nothingness turned. Its dark and potent nuisance was earth's start. It is the waste stuff from which all was made. Into its deeps creation can collapse. Its opposition clogs the march of the soul. Its opposition clogs the march of the soul. It is the mother of our ignorance. He must call light into its dark abyss, else never can truth conquer matter's sleep, and all earth look into the eyes of God. We came to her from a supernal light. By light we live, and to the light we go. We came to her from a supernal light. By light we live, and to the light we go. Here in this seat of darkness, mute and lone, in the heart of everlasting nothingness, light conquered now even by that feeble being. Its faint infiltration drilled the blind deaf mass. Almost it changed into a glimmering sight that housed the fathom of an aureate sun, whose orb purpled the eye of nothingness. Let's try to close our eyes. Absolutely try to think of that light that opens our psychic, the light that takes it much closer to the Master and the Mother, the light which we all need to aspire. And one such prayer that came to me, and I've been trying to reiterate it to myself, is when I sit for my meditation is, Ma, help me listen to my psychic, not my mind and vital, because these things dominate. And when we pray, there is every possibility that the vital would take over, the mind would take over. But if we all can make it as a firm decision to help our own selves listen to the psychic, the way it is being pulled towards that light, our journey would be much more beautiful. Light, light, endless light. Darkness has room no more. Light, endless light. Darkness has room no more. Life's ignorant gulfs give up their secrecy. The huge inconscient depths, unplumbed before, lie glimmering in vast expectancy. Light, timeless light, immutable and apart. The holy sealed mysterious doors unclose. Light, burning light from the infinite's diamond heart. Light, burning light from the infinite's diamond heart, quivers in my heart where blooms the deathless rose. Light, burning light from the infinite's diamond heart, quivers in my heart where blooms the deathless rose. Light in its rapture, leaping through the nerves. Light, brooding light, each smitten, passionate cell in a mute blaze of ecstasy preserves. Brooding light, each smitten, passionate cell in a mute blaze of ecstasy preserves. A living sense of the imperishable, I move in an ocean of stupendous light. I move in an ocean of stupendous light, joining my depths to his eternal height. I move in an ocean of stupendous light, joining my depths to his eternal heights, joining my depths to his eternal heights. Let's try to focus on that light. Let's try to focus on that amazing purple light at the psychic center. Try to offer ourselves to Mother and Gurudev. Namo Bhagavate Sri Namo Bhagavate Sri Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Aurobindo